Or they try to.
What in God's name is going on in here? What was that ruckus?
What ruckus?
I was just in my office and I heard a ruckus.
Could you describe the ruckus, sir?
You're now listening to Music Impulse with Smilez.
Alright y'all, it's your boy Smilez and we back for another episode of the Music Impulse. On this episode, it's a very special episode. I got a very special friend, soon to be family member, all that and everything. Super dope person, super dope family, super dope husband, and all that. She said in another life, if she was like a guy, she might be part of the same organization that I'm a part of. I really don't speak on that, but y'all know the organization I'm part of. If you know, you know. I had to have her on because we recently had a conversation. The last time I saw her in person, we was talking hip hop because it was actually the same day that Kendrick Lamar dropped the video for Not Like Us. We got into this whole super dope hip hop conversation between all of us, and it was super dope. And we came up with the idea that, hey, we should have you on the podcast. And then she had a great concept and everything. And I even was like looking to some articles recently about it, and I was like, oh, this is super dope. But her name is Ava Hill. She's an LPC, a licensed professional counselor. Got it right?
Yep, you got it right. I am an LPC in the state of Texas and Louisiana.
Okay. Two states.
Yes, and I'm thinking about one more, but I don't know yet. I'm trying to figure that out. I was thinking about adding Mississippi because I have folks out there. Interestingly enough, like folks move to Mississippi from other places. They be like, let me go on over here. There's opportunity here, jobs and things. Really just all things Deep South I'm a fan of, and I will service the Deep South residents until I retire.
Okay, look at you. Shout out to you. But yeah, she's a licensed professional counselor. We're going to talk about hip-hop therapy. We're going to talk about Kendrick Lamar, which again, that was how we even got on the whole hip-hop conversation that we had recently. We're going to talk about some other things because a couple people in our lives, did hit me to a couple things that they did want me to bring up with you. So I'm definitely going to bring those up in the conversation as well. First we'll just get into it. Like, what made you want to get into like your background going into like therapy and counseling? What was the start for Ava and wanting to do that?
Okay, so it's interesting because I think when I was really young, I was in middle school actually, and my family had just moved to Baton Rouge, Louisiana from Houston. Mm-hmm. We lived there for like a little bit. We moved around a lot. My dad he was in photography, videography, and everything. And so we would move around a good bit, and I'm really grateful for it. Like as a kid, it was kind of like, oh, we moving again. But now I'm glad that I was living in different places, specifically like Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And we came back to Baton Rouge. I went to middle school in the height of the Boosie Webby time frame, if y'all know, like, mm-hmm. And they were huge. My middle school was a public school. It was really hype. I was shocked by it because being in Houston, the way the school system was, or I was in Pasadena, Texas. So it was very different, very academic centered, which school should be. And then I got to Louisiana and I was like, oh, it's rowdy over here.
It's rowdy.
Like, a lot of different things happening that I don't really understand. Like these kids grown, it was concerning for me as a kid in the midst of it. Where I'm like,
wow. The fact that you was able to like, hold on, wait, no, something ain't right.
Something's not right. Like, why can't we just be kids? Like, why are we fighting? I'm literally 12 and I'm sitting looking like, what is going on? What is happening? And then I did my home economics class. I think I was in 7th grade. And I took home ec, and for whatever reason, we did a project on what do you want to be when you grow up. Mm-hmm. And I decided very quickly that I wanted to put psychologist down. I was like, I think I want to be a psychologist. My mom always told me she thought that I had that kind of brain.
Oh, okay.
She was like, you know what? You remind me of Frasier. And I'm like, oh.
Oh, I remember Frasier.
But yes, she loved Frasier. She was like, he's a radio psychologist and he talks to people and this and that. I'm like, you know what? That's interesting. And it piqued my interest. I also wanted to be a teacher. At one point, I wanted to be a dentist at one point. Then I realized, oh, I don't want to touch people. I don't want to touch gums, teeth, nothing. Nothing medical. And then it hit me once I was in college. Like, I decided that I wanted to study psychology. There was a period of time where I was like, oh, maybe I'll be an anthropologist because I took a few classes. And my mom was like, girl, you can't make no money with that. So she's like, what you gonna do? Travel to Earth and study culture? And I was like, oh, yeah. And she's like,
She said,
stability? I don't really know any of those. But there are plenty of, psychologists in the world, and having more Black folks in the profession wouldn't hurt. So I learned what all it would take to become a psychologist, but then I realized I don't like research and I don't like testing, don't like assessments. I just like the therapeutic part. And I went to this, it was right after I met Doechii, my husband. I was a junior in college, and I remember my psychology program was putting on like a information fair for folks who were about to graduate in the next 2 years. Come through, learn about the different tracks you can take if you don't want to go the full PhD route. Here's some options. I looked at all the options and I was like, let me see what this counseling route is, because it sounds like what I want to do. I went and I fell in love with it. I was like, I think I know what I want to do. And then that next year I was applying to schools. I had like this new light where I was like, oh, counselorhood. Like, I can do all of these different things with this. And I want to learn how to be a therapist or a counselor. And then like moving into it, it's like one of those things with most, I think all careers really. But like this one in particular, there's always room for self-evaluation and understanding of like yourself, but also other people. So now I'm kind of in this new space of like, what do I want to do? Because I don't want to continue to just be direct client care moving forward. So I'm hoping for like, expanding my business into more avenues, like having events and fairs and workshops, stuff like that in the future, so that I can help people, not just my clients, but also be a part of the community and teach folks. Like, I love education. So
even with that, what's it been like being an entrepreneur for you, like running like your own business? And again, like you said, you're a counselor supervisor.
Yeah, so like that's a new thing. Yeah.
So what's that been like for you?
It's been nice. So like I'm a solo practitioner. How I viewed myself as a therapist is looking quite different from what I recall kind of envisioning, if that makes sense. Like when I was younger, I was like, 7 years ago, I started my journey of being a counselor, where I was out of school. I had to get my hours toward being fully licensed. So I was in supervision, and I really liked the process of supervision. So basically, like when you study to be a counselor, you finish your master's, and you have to find somebody to work under or meet with, and for them to check in on you and be like, hey, let's evaluate this. What do you need help with? What do you need to understand? What's your cases like? Just to have that assistance. And it's really great because some other therapeutic professions don't make you do that. So now I am indeed the supervisor and not the supervisee.
Yeah, so now you got people like trying to get their hours.
Yes, people getting their hours. And like, I just started in the past month or so with Louisiana. And then I had to do this month-long training, kind of month-long, like a few nights a week, to become one in Texas, like to do the national course and become one in Texas. So I just finished that up. So that's something that's coming, and that's what I mean by kind of switching things up. Like, I don't want to just be, I love being a counselor, but I think I'm in a place where I want to kind of guide folks, so it's quite different. Being an entrepreneur has taught me a lot about myself and my strengths. I'm not as Virgo as I thought I was. Like, I am indeed a Virgo. But when I tell you I do some non-Virgo things, where it's like, girl, what is happening? Where's the organization here? Because you're struggling here. And that's something that I really want to hone in on. It's like, I'm a person that likes to switch things up very intentionally. And that's where I'm at right now, where I'm like, I think I need to switch some things up intentionally and take self-inventory. So that's something I'm doing. And being a counselor requires a lot from your mental health. Like, you can't provide good care if your mental health isn't in a good place. And I've been there where I've been like, dang, I'm kind of struggling a little bit. I'm a little distracted. I'm struggling with my, personal life, or there's certain things I'm trying to understand about myself, or struggles that I'm dealing with. And I'm sitting here trying to help somebody with theirs. And that's like a weird notion where you be like, dang, am I qualified? Imposter syndrome is a beast too. So it's a lot of different things that happen when you become a counselor. And it's a matter of like managing those different roles. Like you being a counselor and then you being a person. And knowing that at the end of the day, you're a person.
I've actually learned that about people I know that do therapy, that either I knew that was their job or found out that was their job, like especially like during the pandemic. Like I remember 2 girls specifically like saying on social media like, yo, I had to take a break from doing this because I'm getting, not only because am I having to deal with I'm stuck in the house, but I got these clients where one, I was maybe used to doing this in person, but now I have to transition to do it virtually, but also now I'm taking on all day stuff, and it's like I need a therapist to talk to help me get.
And that's another thing too. Like practically, if you are a therapist that's doing your due diligence, you probably have one yourself. And I do, and I don't consistently keep one, but I know that like when certain things are happening, I'm like, I think it's time for me to discuss me with somebody so that I can show up as me, the counselor, in a better and more in a healthier way, in the way that I've always intended to. And I'm very transparent with my clients when it comes to things that I'm dealing with, or like I let them know, like, hey, I ain't my best today, or I'm kind of struggling with my sleep. Becoming a parent has really taught me to give myself a lot of grace too. So there's a lot of different elements. Like the pandemic really threw that off though. Like going from being in office, like I remember before the pandemic, I had never done a virtual session in my life. Like the whole, how many years? Like 3 years of being a counselor at that time. I had never done one in my life. And then here comes 2020 and I'm doing nothing but. And then we're in the session and we're both wearing a mask. Which is fine. And then seeing more people as things change, like 2021, 2022, seeing folks in person, seeing about half and half. And now I run a mostly virtual practice, and I'm realizing that I miss the in-person elements. I actually need them for me to feel like I'm still a therapist in some ways, where I'm like, dang, this don't feel right. I'm used to the couch. I need the couch. I need the plants. I need the lighting. I need the ambiance.
Because I've had 2 therapists. The first one I had I think it was 5 free sessions. I learned real quick. One, I needed a black therapist because she was a white lady, and it was all virtual. And I was because I remember sessions, it was a couple where I was actually at home doing it, but then I remember one specifically I was in my car because it was right after work, and I was I'm actually in my car, I'm leaving from work, so I'm just gonna do it right here while I'm sitting in the parking lot. But I learned real quickly I need a black one because it was actually when Chadwick Boseman died. And I was talking to her how, because she was just how you been? I was honestly, because I think it was maybe a day or 2. It was right after he had died, and I was just yeah, I'm not really feeling good. I was it's Chadwick Boseman died, and she was just he's famous, right? He's a celebrity. What did he do? I heard the name before, and I'm oh.
All she had to do was Google. But again,
And then having to explain to her, I was wasn't attached to him. It's just the fact that who he represented it. I was that hurt me. And I can't explain it. You don't get it that him as a black man.
Exactly. And if I did explain it, would you really understand? And that's another thing too. With cultural things, I've had 3 in my lifetime, 3 different professionals treat me, and I've had wonderful experiences every time, gratefully. But I did notice a difference when I worked with Black women.
Yeah,
versus-
yeah. When I got my second one, I was like, I needed to be in person and I needed to be black. So I had a black lady for my second time around, and she was Greek too. So 'cause it was like right after I had crossed, and I was like, I'm just trying to, get used to life. And I was like, I just crossed into a fraternity. And she was like, oh, you're part of a fraternity? She's like, which one? I was like, oh yeah, it's Alpha Phi. She was like, oh well. She's like, look at my desk. And I was like, oh, you got that red? She was like, yes, I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta. I was like, oh, okay. She was like, she's like, I understand. She's like, you fresh on the yard and all that. I was like, okay, cool. And but then
people together.
And then just the black stuff I could talk to her about, just like, oh, this feels good.
Absolutely. And it's wild. A lot of people go through that where like the first time you go and you're like, oh, and then the next time you find somebody that's more fitting. And that's something for folks listening. Like if you are considering going to therapy, definitely schedule consultations before you even start. Like get to know people. That's something I've learned.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it with practically every client I've had in my practice over the past year and some change, almost 2 years. We're doing a consultation first. I need you to feel me out. I need to feel you out. I need to see what your needs are and make sure that I can meet them.
Mm-hmm.
And go from there. Because a lot of times we just schedule with somebody and we'd be like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing against you, but I don't know if you can fit my needs per se as a client. And talking about that, sometimes letting people know it's hard to do, but it'll the more you tailor it to your own needs and wants, the better your experience will usually be.
Mm-hmm.
In therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a good observation for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Ever since taking it, I tell people like, hey, yeah, you should do therapy. Therapy is really good. I was like, I love the fact that I can vent to people that aren't friends or family and have a totally unbiased opinion about anything I say. And she really was like, no. And I learned, I was like, oh no, you really just made me figure out stuff that I kind of already knew about myself, but you just made me.
But it's like an added little touch of like
I remember when I was just telling her about stuff, and she was like, you know Superman, right? I was like, yeah. She was like, I think you suffer from Superman syndrome.
I love those analogies.
But yeah, I thought therapy was cool. Before we really get into more of like the main topic, I want to bring up some of the fun stuff.
Okay.
I was told to ask you about the nickname Super Bass and Nicki Minaj.
Oh, that's so cute. Okay, so around the time that Super Bass by Nicki Minaj came out, my mother and your fiance worked together at Southern University. She was a student. My mom was the clinical coordinator for the speech pathology department, and they developed a closeness, a friendship. And anytime I would call my mom, now mind you, I'm in college in Lafayette, Louisiana, which is an hour away from Baton Rouge. So I would call my mom and be like, hey mom, this, that, and the third. And she would always talk about her. And my mama would call me Super Bass because she liked the song.
Oh.
And she said it made her think of me, basically, like, oh, they go Super Bass right now. My mama just does that. Like when Ray came out back in the day. Fuck my mom. I am one of those girls. My mama is that girl, okay? Love that lady down. She used to call my daddy Ray because she liked how Kerry Washington said Ray in Ray. Ray. My mama would be like, Ray. And it's like, girl, his name isn't Ray, his name is Martin. But she just does that. She does that. She'll get a word, a name, a song, and she'll start calling you that.
They go Super Bass
and
right there.
Like, this is unrelated. So she would call me Super Bass. And I wasn't even no big, huge Nicki Minaj fan. She alright. Especially back then. She was that girl back then, but right now I don't know how I feel about Nicki Minaj. I don't. But when it comes to that time, she would say it and they would be working together and she would hear it. So she started calling me Super Bass too. And she would give me a card. I feel like when I graduated, Tiana gave me a card that had a bike on it. It was a pink card that was just really cute. We both like floral things. And she wrote, congratulations, Super Bass, when I went to college. And I'm like, She really done held on to the super bass. And I love it. And my mom doesn't call me that at all anymore. At all. But at that time, probably for a 2-year span, she called me super bass every chance that she got.
Yeah, that's it. When I was like, hey, what's some stuff? She was like, ask her about the nickname Super Bass. I was like, huh? She was like, I'll just tell you, it's Nicki Minaj. I'm like, okay, I need to hear this story.
Yes. Boom, 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 bass. And my mama didn't even she would hear it on the radio. She listened to the Ricky Smiley morning show every morning, going to work, and she would hear that. And she was like, this song, what she said, the super bass. I like the super bass.
I like the super
bass.
That's
where it comes from.
Parents and how the super bass.
How they think, honey. Yeah. My mama is a colorful character.
Yeah, I was like, just the one time I met her, then just always hearing her on the phone with Tiana is always interesting.
It's a good time, yes.
I was like, oh, she's just super cool. I was like, but she give it to plus that southern accent and I'm like, oh, like unfiltered.
She's very thuggish. Yeah, that's how I would refer to her, like an angelic thuggish lady, but in the most lovely ladylike way, just very.
Yeah, that's what I was like the times I've heard her even say I wouldn't say mean things, but just I guess thuggish type things. I was like, but her voice just sounds so.
Yeah, and
sweet.
You might hear a little rasp, a little bit of sharp edge. To give it the astrology people, my mother is an Aries woman, so she's very.
Mm-hmm.
And if something don't make sense, she doesn't like it. She likes sensibility, and she is very witty. She's extremely witty. So. Yeah,
because I heard her say something recently to Tiana. She was like, so I'm just telling you, it's like if I hadn't been married to him, it was like something, but she's like I'd kill him dead. I was like, whoa.
She's a roughneck, a true roughneck, but you wouldn't know it looking at her. You would think, oh, this lady looks like she might be a little bougie, might be a little, No, not at all.
So the next thing I wanted to ask you about was was 90s R&B groups and how you feel about people like Tyrese, Genuine, and Tank.
Sorry. That is such a. So this is okay. That is funny to me. Let me tell you why. So I used to watch a lot of do you remember the website Wrap Up?
Yep.
And is it that Grape Juice?
I think so. I think that sounds familiar.
All them old blogs.
Yeah.
Back then, I miss blogging. I miss blogs that are not on Instagram. I used to love getting home from class, getting on Wrap Up, getting on
all of
all of those. And I remember there was a post about Tyrese, Tank, and Genuine. TGT was back together.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Neezy here. I wanted to make sure that y'all go and get your Naturally Nay Instant Moisture Duo. That's right, this Instant Moisture Duo can be used on braids, locks, twists, beards, and all of your natural hair. The moisturizer is all natural ingredients. One of our key ingredients, aloe vera. Aloe vera is really great for your scalp. And our oil blend is a mixture of the best oils that you can use to promote hair growth and give your hair a good shine and overall just a natural glow. So you're getting 2 amazing products. Make sure you go to inaudibleruckus.com/naturallynay. And also you can follow us on Instagram at naturally_nay, NAEE.
Ain't nobody but these y'all tell you to do that. I'm sorry, that's so funny. I love it. They did a performance back then. They had gotten back together because I think they got together in the early 2000s or the late 90s for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And they were known for being friends or working together, being R&B dudes. And there's this whole story, y'all. Look it up. Tank told the story about how they should not have been performing on some morning show.
Mm-hmm.
And they did it anyway because Tyrese was so adamant about it. That sounds like Tyrese, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Tyrese was so
I was like,
adamant,
he's the reason why they broke up before recently.
We could do it, exactly. We could do it. And Genuine did not know the song. Okay? They're sitting up on that stage and Genuine is high off a 5-hour energy shot. Trying to sing this song that he does not know. The only person that really can hold a tune is Tank, and he's at the piano laughing and giggling while they're performing. It's a funny, performance. If you look it up, let me see how it is. I think it's like TGT morning show performance, and Tank tells the whole story. And it had me hollering. Now, I laugh at Tyrese anyway. Tyrese is a lovely vocalist. He makes some really wonderful music. I love R&B. I'm willing to say I probably put my husband on a lot of R&B, but he also has put me on some, because I did not listen to Genuine's very first album. And that man knows it front to back.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see it. TGT performs the new single "I Need" on WLNY's The Couch. I could just see from how Genuine even just looks. He just looked like, oh, well, I don't know about this.
He's the whole time he's like doing all of these animated, cinematic like movements and stuff.
Yeah, I was like looking at his eyes. His eyes just look like
very perplexed the whole time. He did not know what was going on. He didn't know his left from his right. And it was clear. And apparently because he did not get any sleep the night before, and Tyrese was like, you know what, actually, bro, take one of these. So it's a funny story, and I'm like, again, there's Tyrese with his shenanigans. But I love R&B music as much as I love hip hop, if not more. Because my dad is not a hip hop person. I grew up listening to a lot of like R&B, like old school stuff. And like 90s stuff, like Tevin Campbell was in heavy rotation in my childhood. Like, nice. He loves that man and his voice. My mom is from Oklahoma, so like very much know all of the Gap Band's music pretty much. Like Charlie Wilson is one of the best vocalists of all time. I don't care what nobody say.
Yeah.
Very distinct voice. And even today's R&B, like there's certain folks that I really, really, really enjoy. Specifically like the ones that kind of have more of a classic sound. Interestingly enough, and I'm drawing blanks right now thinking of some, but like I love Snow Allegra, our fellow Virgo girl. Luke James is very talented. I love his voice. Yep.
Underrated.
Very underrated. Great actor too.
Yes, I need to watch that show that they said he they said he did like his thing on that.
The horror show, yeah. We watched it. I don't even get into horror like that, but he did an amazing job in that. Like I've really watched it.
That's one of my homies, because I was like, yeah, didn't they have like a first season? He was like, bro, he's like, you really don't even need to watch the first season. He's like, you can watch the second season within itself.
Yeah, because I didn't watch the first season, and my husband and I and my sister cousin, she came and we watched it here at our house, and I was like, man, this is really good. He did a great job. But them, I love James Fauntleroy, the songwriter, singer. Like I love him. He might be one of my absolute favorites. He got me through college. Cocaine 80s was my jam. Okay. And they just released it. Him and No ID are an amazing combination. They done wrote so much music for people.
I think they just dropped like they project the mixtape on like streaming platforms like recently. Yeah.
So I literally check for James Fauntleroy's music like all the time, where I'm like, has he put anything out? Or has he released something different? Whose albums? Like I know with certain people, I'm like, oh, he wrote that for sure. Like, let me see if James took part in this. And of course I like it. And I even like used to bother that man on social media. Like back when Instagram was new, I was posting that music. And I think they just go by the 80s now. They don't do Cocaine 80s, because, you know, drugs.
Cocaine, yeah.
Right. But back then, I used to just, like, tag him in everything. And he'd be like, thank you. He was, like, gracious. And I said, see, I like you even more.
Yeah, that's what, like...
Respond. And you care. Like, you care. And you get your flowers finally. You know, like, now he's on podcasts and stuff and interviews and things, talking to people. But that is a very talented... vocalist, writer, all the things. So yeah, I'm an R&B girly before I am probably a hip-hop girly. But then again, I'm like, no, I think I'm about 50-50.
Yeah, that's why I was like artists, like for me, like Eric Bellinger and like Ali. Yeah, like I remember, like, cause Ali, I've been following him for years. Like it was, I know, like early on, like if I tweeted something like, oh, listen to this, or like responding, he would respond. But I was like, like seeing like how they keep elevating. I'm like, I love to see this. Like, even if I don't get a response anymore, but it's like the fact that like I know it was like a time that like back then like you would like actually take the time to like write me back on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, or even just a like on the comment. It was like, okay, I like to see like you elevating. Like, okay, I see y'all working with Chris Brown. Okay, I see you like doing this and doing Usher and all that stuff. I was like, I love it.
Yes, I do too. Like all of the guys that were, like Duran Bernard. I'm so happy
Duran
he's like
Bernard,
at the forefront. I love Sir. Like he's one of my faves. Him and his brothers, period. Like they whole family. Rest in peace to their mama.
Yeah, I just saw that recently. Their mom passed away.
Yes, and he like still did the show. One of my friends from back home, she came to Houston to see him perform, and at the show, she shared some of the footage on Instagram, and I was like, oh wow. And she said, yeah girl, his mom passed this morning, and he just like talked about it. He's still out here performing, and his brothers
he's still
they're like out there singing and holding each other's hands, like singing together, and pushing through. But I adore him. I adore his journey, because I think he went through some things, a few years back, and he is in such a healthy place now. And I love when people do that. Speaking of mental health, like he went through some stuff with like drug problems and
I do remember him saying that.
And he was like, I was not in my best self, and I had to figure that out, or his longtime girlfriend, now wife, was gonna leave him. And he did it.
Dang.
And I commend that, like he figured it out, and he's the healthiest probably he's ever been. So
that's great. I didn't even know that part with the whole girlfriend. Wow, I knew he was like getting over drugs. I heard like him talking about that in the interview. Like, hey, like yo, the label was looking at me like, get your straight.
The label, his fam, like she was ready, and it looks like she was really ready to like hold him down and do whatever she needed to do. But I think he now is seeing on the other end of it like, I hurt this person, or I'm hurting myself, and in turn I'm hurting other people, so I really need to get it together. And he did it, and I love that for him. He's a brilliant artist. Yeah, those are my faves. I like some of the trendier people like Brent Faiyaz. He all right. My best friend say he sound like his voice is incomplete.
He's just Mr. Toxic masculine.
Toxic.
Yeah.
Another Virgo makes us look kind of, But yeah, he's there's a few of them where I'm like, okay, like you're not 100% my speed. Kind of like with SZA for me. Like I like SZA. I really used to like SZA a lot, and I still appreciate her, but I can't relate anymore.
Oh yeah, I can definitely understand that.
I can't relate to anything you're singing about anymore. I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to hear something and feel like that. So I appreciate her, and I think she's doing great things, but I also feel like, girl, we're in our 30s now.
Yeah, which actually makes for a great transition to the main artist that we want to talk about with Kendrick Lamar, because I was actually talking with my homie Lo again. Shout out to Inaudible Ruckus podcast. Him and his wife and his family, they live down in Houston also. But we were talking about like Big Sean album, and I asked him about Kendrick Lamar, and we were basically just saying like, they the guys is on the other side of the mountain, like they've made it, and like the reason that we resonate with them more than like he was like, yeah, we like a Drake, we like a Future. He's like, they have the turn up songs. He's like, but the reason that we relate to like artists like Kendrick Lamar right now and like Big Sean and J. Cole is because we are getting to that point in our lives where like, oh no, like we have families, we like have wives and kids, and like, but we're all like, some of us like, depending on like where we are like career wise, like, oh, like I didn't made it, but I still feel like, why am I not happy? Because like my boy Lo, he just started taking therapy this year. He was like, hey, like for me personally, he was like, yo, I felt like I made it like career wise. He's like, I got my wife, I got my kid, but he was like, being from Detroit and just like all the personal stuff is like started like really like weighing on me. He was like, well, which is why I want to go to therapy. He's like, but that's also why people are relating to, again, like a Big Sean's album or like Kendrick Lamar's new track and everything, because he's like, yo, I relate to you because y'all basically kind of know what I'm going through in life, just on like a higher scale because y'all dealing with like millions and all this stuff. But he was like, that's why we relate to like guys like them and J. Cole, because like, oh, I understand what you're saying because I feel that way too. And I was like, that's exactly why. Basically, wanted to get to Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar, one of your favorite artists. First, I want to get to how that happened, and also could you mention the story about how your now husband asked you to be his girlfriend while at a Kendrick Lamar concert?
Oh yeah, so I got into Kendrick around the time of like, it was between Overly Dedicated and oh my gosh, Section 80.
See, I got hip after Section 80.
And I was like, oh, I think I really like him. It was probably like a week before Section 80 came out.
Okay.
Where I was like, oh, one of my friends in school had mentioned him or something. And I was like, I don't think I've gotten into him. And I listened and I was like, oh, he's special. Like, I like this. This makes me feel like kind of how some of the older rappers that I used to listen to made me feel, kind of like how Nas made me feel. Or like,
which, side note, Nas actually posted a congratulations to Kendrick just today.
Really?
Yeah, he posted on his story the picture of Kendrick doing the Super Bowl and was like, congratulations, I can't wait for everybody to hear you let the party die or whatever. So folks was like, they were like, oh, not only did you say congrats, but that shows that you listen to the new joint too.
Exactly. I think like he probably is one that does keep up with folks, the new people or the people that came after him. But it kind of made me feel like that. And then when I got into Mos Def later on, I was like, oh, this makes me feel like that too. Because Black on Both Sides, I didn't get in. I mean, it's an old album. It's from when I was a child, but I got into it later with my brother.
I love that Black Star album.
Yes, him and my boy. Oh my gosh.
Talib
What's his
Kweli,
name?
Yep, Talib.
There you go, Talib Kweli.
Yeah, and then
he had an album I loved when I was in high school.
I don't know if you heard of it. It's a new girl, Layla. I still haven't listened to
that's his daughter.
Yeah, that's his daughter.
I like her little album. It's actually really good.
Yeah, I was gonna check that out when I was like, oh, most definitely.
And when I saw that that's her dad, I was like, wow, she's like him, but a woman version of him.
I was like,
oh, she looks just like that man.
Yeah. So I was like, I gotta check that out.
She's really interesting. Like, she has a cool sound. She's very much of the time, of the like youth at this time, and I love that. People that are just very present with what's going on. And she does everything herself.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, oh, she did all the production herself.
In your room. Like, she went viral on TikTok, making her little beats in her bedroom. That's really tight to me. Like, you are a little visionary. But Kendrick made me feel like that. And then Section 80 came out, and I was like, wow, he's got a little bit of production by Pharrell already. Like, that's kind of tight. And he's got like some, he's a very notable person, just very like with it. And it made me feel a lot of things. And then, of course, when Swimming Pools had come out, and my best friend and I had gotten heavy into him. We became fans, similar to how we did with Frank Ocean at the time. My best friend, that's like our two dudes, like really three. But I think one of them, we struggling to get back to him, and I don't know why. Me and you discussed this. Our three, Frank Ocean, Kendrick Lamar, and J. Cole.
Yeah.
With Jermaine, we need a little help. We've been struggling a little bit. So I need to get back to him. I need to spend some time with him because I really appreciate him as well. But
like I said, I love me some Cole.
I love J. Cole, and like I need to jump back into that because every feature he's done over the past few years, I've enjoyed. And I'm like, he's still great. I just haven't devoted the time. And maybe it's because something within me is changing. I don't know. But Kendrick has been very much steadfast. And then my husband, who was not even my boyfriend at the time, like we were just getting to know each other. We knew it was probably going to happen at some point. And literally on October 1st of 2012, we went to see Kendrick at the Varsity Theater at LSU's campus. And he was like, we was in the line.
That's what that was like.
Right. I'm like, dude, we ain't even get in yet. And he was like, hey, you know, it's giving, can you be my girlfriend or whatever? Like, are we gonna do this? And I was like, absolutely. And we was giggling and stuff like, you know, 20-year-olds do, 21-year-olds. And then we went inside and had a great time watching Kendrick. He was an amazing performer even back then. Mm-hmm. You know, like 12 years ago. Even back then, he was great. And yeah, he's just been one of my faves ever since then. I think Good Kid, Mad City was great, but The Pimp a Butterfly is my favorite.
See, and that's the one I said even this year I need to go back and really listen to. I was like, 'cause at the time I was just like, I don't get it.
It was special to me at the time. I liked it sonically, and he also had James on the album. And I'm very biased towards James when it comes to James Fauntleroy. So like, you know, How Much a Dollar, like that. Mm-hmm. That was great to me. I loved all the songs. Like the album starting, Wesley's Theory, like the whole thing. I love it. Damn was amazing. Like he just keeps getting better. Like he just keeps getting better. And then this last album, Damn. In the name of the one before that, damn, it was so good. Like I was just very emotional when I listened to it.
Yeah, like even my friend was saying, like he feels like Big Sean's latest album is equal to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
I heard a couple
but he was like just on a more like you can understand it level. He's like this is like Mr. Morale. He's like, because he's saying like the same thing, but he's like Big Sean ain't like deep like a Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, he's not lyrically the same either, but he's great. He's still very talented, but like I've heard the same thing. Like I think he's gone through a process of like self-understanding, just like Kendrick.
Self-care, self-love, and all that.
Yeah, like understanding themselves better and unpacking certain things that they probably have never really tapped into in like a way where they're putting it out on Front Street. Like here it is, you know, lyrically I'm coming to y'all vulnerably, openly with who I am and things I'm trying to understand. You know, I'm imperfect and everything. I learned a lot about him in that album, and I appreciate artists like that. It kind of reminded me of when like Beyonce came out with Lemonade.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, damn, you just put it, whether this is, because people speculate down that that's not real. I've heard people say that, like, you think that really happened? Like that's really what happened to her? And it's like, yeah, I think so. I would believe no one would just make up something and be like, yeah, this happened to me, and it not be true.
Right.
But above all else is the art in it, and I love vulnerability. And so people coming and being open and transparent and like, here's my hurt, here's my triumph, here's the things that I went through, here's what I've learned. I love that. So I'm gonna have to get into Big Sean's album because I've heard good things. And he has Thundercat on there. He another one I love.
And Charlie Wilson's on there too.
Say no more. Say no more.
Yep, Charlie Wilson's on there. I like Superstar. The Dream was on that one, but it's they sample Usher's Superstar.
Oh, cute. I'm gonna have to get into it.
Yeah, I really do.
Heard the things.
Yeah, I really do like that one. But along with like Kendrick Lamar, being that, you know, you got some roots in Louisiana, how are you feeling about this whole Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl announcement? I did tell Tiana, I was like, hey, I don't know where we're gonna be at. I was like, I feel like the next Super Bowl, I was like, we need to be with Ava and Dijon. I was like, watching the Super Bowl.
We gonna figure it out.
I was like, okay, we in Dallas, Houston, whatever. I was like, we
gonna figure it out. Because I agree. I think that's a great idea. We're gonna have to plan that before February.
Because I was like, I need to watch Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl with them. I was like, I feel like this is just gonna be.
Because that's our boy. Like, we love him. My husband loves him just as much, but I think I put more emphasis on like understanding him. Like I break them lyrics down. I want to know what he's talking about. The young's like, oh, it's hard. Ooh, look at what he said. And I'm like, yeah, but like there's more to it. There's deeper meaning in this. Even with Not Like Us, I'm like, this dude is maniacal. But right. you are what? Your brain, the way it's set up, blessings to you, sir.
Yeah. Even the announcement, I didn't understand it until I saw Rob Markman break it down. He was like, yeah, so if you really even like just break down the Super Bowl announcement, he was talking about like he sampled someone else's speech or whatever, he was like, when he was talking about like America and this American, like it's only American, he's like that could be a subtle also shot to like Drake, like no, like that's Americans.
You over there in Canada,
Yeah.
which I appreciate some of the artists out of Canada. But sir,
Yeah.
I think okay, so everybody is talking about how like Wayne was snubbed. And then literally today, before we met, I happened to get online and I saw that apparently like he was talking about it.
Yeah, he dropped a video last night, finally saying like, like yeah, I am hurt by this. He was like, but I'm taking some time to evaluate, and I just appreciate everybody reaching out to me, basically just saying like, yeah, like I really was hurt about it, but also from seeing everybody like dropping videos and links and stuff, it was like I can see why they didn't choose you. I was like, yes, you shouldn't have got your hopes up about it, like he said, because he was like, yeah, that was on me for getting my hopes up that it was even gonna be possible for me to do it. But when people saying like, yeah, he got a catalog, but his showmanship, like he's not the best
performer.
Yeah, he's not the best performer. They're like, can he? It was like, because people who've been like Kendrick Lamar shows, I've seen people saying like, yo, no, I've been to a Kendrick Lamar show, like he can put on a 30-minute show and he's gonna make it amazing. There's like Wayne, he's just gonna just stand there and rap, and he ain't gonna put on like an actual show. Like, yes, he's a great rapper and all that, but as far as like a show, it was like we can see why you weren't chosen, no matter what the catalog is. Like yes, and also you never know, you might get it like in like next year or the year after that or something like that. Like just you gotta get, because they were saying like even like award shows. Saw somebody say like an award show that they were supposed to have practice like all week long. He didn't show up to practice, and then like the day of he showed up, and then all he did was just run out, do his part, and then he ran like right off and left the award show.
And like, okay, he's having Louisiana Fest, like he does his festival every year. Gonna have that. Like, what does that look like? Like the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is an entity, a business, a major business. So it's like these people are thinking about that component. And Kendrick had probably the biggest year of his career, so they're gonna put him out there. And the fact that it's in New Orleans, being a Louisianan, I understand people wanting Wayne to be up there. I understand people wanting the hot boys. Bring them all out.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Neezy here. I wanted to make sure that y'all go and get your Naturally Nay Instant Moisture Duo. That's right, this Instant Moisture Duo can be used on braids, locks, twists, beards, and all of your natural hair. The moisturizer is all natural ingredients. One of our key ingredients, aloe vera. Aloe vera is really great for your scalp. And our oil blend is a mixture of the best oils that you can use to promote hair growth and give your hair a good shine and overall just a natural glow. So you're getting two amazing products. Make sure you go to inaudibleruckus.com/naturallynay. And also you can follow us on Instagram at naturally_nay, NAEE.
All of them. Specifically my fave, Juvenile. We would love to see them, but are they meant for the Super Bowl for real? That's always my thing. It's like,
yeah, because like y'all still trying to work out y'all's own personal relationship.
Exactly.
I heard they just had a whole little thing at Essence Fest. Like Turk and BG were like,
some of the people didn't come, some of them did. It's a whole thing. Like this is a large group of people who've worked together over the years, and then some have dipped out, and then there's a lot of like triangulation and weird stuff happening over the years. So it's like, it ain't gonna look like when Dr. Dre and them was up there. And Kendrick was there for that. So like, again, and when he was there for that, even his segment was insane. It was amazing. So he's gonna bring that presence to the forefront. And I don't know if Wayne can do that. As much as I love Wayne, I think we do deserve to give Wayne his flowers. There needs to be some form of like, acknowledgement at, I don't know, an award show or something. Give him a Vanguard Award. I don't know. He is talented, but Wayne is one of those people where like his presence over the past, I'm willing to say 10 years has not been like it was. Like, I don't think he's an artist that really has challenged himself.
Yeah, he's really more like features. This is like, he's gonna...
Yeah, like you come out with things, but it hasn't hit the same as what it did at one point, and that happens to people. And we still value you. We still find you. New Orleans is always going to love you, and hip hop lovers are always going to appreciate you and know that you have a presence. But the Super Bowl, Lollipop.
Because it was like, yes, you got hits. You got joints that can ring off at the Super Bowl, like again, like a lollipop or whatever. But it's like
Fireman. Some of the people don't even know Fireman.
Yeah.
They don't know Go DJ. A Millie. Okay, they know a Millie. They know 6 foot, 7 foot.
Yeah.
But like again, you know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just I get the discourse around it, but I also don't. Like if I'm looking at it subjectively, I wouldn't care who performs at the Super Bowl for real.
Yeah, I was like, I don't really care. I was like, yes, like I get. I was like, yes, because of the whole LA thing with Dr. Dre. Like now you feel like, I was like, yes, that would have been dope. But when I started thinking about everything else with it, I'm like, oh yeah, the showmanship.
The showmanship, performing.
Would we really want, or would the NFL really want, like the Hot Boys also getting that big stage? I could see like a Manny Fresh or a Birdman also with it, but are they really? And I can see Juvenile, but it's like, are we really gonna be like, we also want Turk and BG on the Super Bowl stage performing? I was like, Die Hard, yes, we love it. We would love to see that. But on the Super Bowl stage, they're gonna, who are these guys? That's what a lot of people are gonna be like. Who are these guys? Why are they here? And they probably, yeah. And it's really like, if you bring out Juvenile, all they gonna know is back that ass up.
And when you think about it, like, yes, people know their music and everything, but if we're looking at the present year and all that has happened, that's one of the best people for them to put up there. Kendrick. If you're gonna put a rap artist, yeah, because I've been to a total of probably, if I'm counting correctly, 5 shows of his. The crowd. That's all I'm gonna say. The crowd do not look like somebody's school that is in a predominantly black area. It looks very different than that. And it's like, okay, even at the LA show, when I went to the pop out, I'm like, wow, very cool, very diverse group of people, tons of people,
and there's money behind the Super Bowl, so they probably like, we think about all of these aspects.
Exactly. And people know, everybody knows not like us. Everybody knows that there was a beef and everything, and yes, it's crazy. And you know what, here's a unpopular opinion. I feel like he's not even really gonna perform that.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think he would either.
He may. I think it would be tight if he came out there. And
because that would be fire, a whole stadium.
Okay, OVO. But again, like, Kendrick his artistry is lovely, and I think he's gonna be very creative with it. And I'm excited to see what he does, because I appreciate him as an artist. And a lot of people don't get Kendrick. And that's okay. Like, it's surprisingly, I did not know that, but now I've learned, like, a lot of people really don't get it. And there are also people that spam NBA Youngboy in their ears, so.
And I've never heard that one song from this dude.
Yeah, I just know, like, the youngsters love him.
Yeah, I just hear, like, he gets, like, all the streams.
He's a huge deal to the youth, interestingly, but different strokes for different folks, I guess.
But also, really get into what we really want to talk about. We want to talk about, mental health in music, specifically hip hop. I guess, how do you use it, and how do you see the correlations with everything? Because I know, like, when you brought up the subject, I was thinking about, like, guys, like, for me personally, like a Wale or like Joe Budden, like, because even him talking about, like, yo, my first album, he was like, I just wanted to talk about mental health on my first album. He was like, I didn't care about having a hit single. I just wanted to talk about that. Plenty of artists, like, again, like Kendrick, Kanye West. Who else? There's plenty of artists that actually, like, have spoken about it. Yeah, Kid Cudi.
It's so many. I'm sitting here struggling to think of everybody, but like mental health is the people. So I think like any artist who makes music that makes you feel something, that is going to like make you hold a mirror to yourself, I consider that mental health related music. Like anything that brings you to that place in your psyche where you're like, I'm feeling things. It's making me reflect. I'm personalizing this. I'm reflecting on this, and people just sharing their experiences. Hip hop is a very mental health centered genre, in my opinion. Like there's so many artists. I mean, even Eminem ass.
Yeah.
Him too.
Hey, I always tell folks, the song that got me hip to him when I was a kid was, I said, I'm sorry, mama.
I never
meant to hurt you. Cause I was like, cause you know, in full disclosure, like at that time it was a lot of like with my mom and my stepdad and stuff. And I was just like, for some reason that song just hit me at that time. I was just like,
I feel this.
Yeah, I feel this. Like, yes.
I'm sorry, mama, and I don't like it. Yeah, it's like certain things that come up when you're listening to hip hop music. Like, mental health is there's so many facets to it. There's so many different areas of it. There's different parts of it. There's like, you know, self-awareness based stuff. There's things surrounding depression all up and through hip hop. Literally, like my mind playing tricks on me.
Yep, Scarface.
Okay, like all the way back in the G, Tupac has a lot of music that's centered around mental health. You know, like so many artists, and hip hop is like I said, the epitome of just everything, like everything and everybody. It's specifically for Black folks. So it's really interesting seeing that a lot of rappers now are coming forward with like their actual struggles. Like I struggle with this. Like this is something I'm having difficulty with. I love Tierra Whack. I love Tierra Whack. I think she is an innovator. I love her. I love Doechii. Like the girls even. I still
gotta check her new project out.
Oh.
Cause everybody. Yeah, cause everybody they're like, yo, that's like her Section 80.
Literally, like it's the sounds, the things she's talking about, like her interlude, so intentional. She's just brilliant. That young lady is brilliant. When I first heard her on an Isaiah Rashad song, one of his singles, I can't remember the name of it right now, but I was like, who is this girl playing with her voice like this? And then I heard her on the SZA song, SZA was on her song, the Persuasive song, and then she got this Kodak Black and all of that. And then like this album came out, and I'm like, oh, this is so cool. This is so Southern and like, but unique. And Tierra Whack is similar to me, of course. Like she's from Philly, but she's like she shared her experiences. She has songs that are very brutally honest about like what she struggles with. She has songs about grief. She has songs about everything. And I love that. Songs about self-love, mental health. Like, so many things. Like, I think it's a part of life. It's literally our mind, body, spirit, all of the pieces, they intertwine, and hip-hop will bring you there. Like, it'll take you to that place. Like all music will. But there's something very specific about hip-hop because the lyrics are a huge part of it.
I was gonna say, even with that, again, like you being a therapist, counselor, and everything, is there like any music you kind of recommend to like even like your clients? If I don't know, or how do you, I guess, incorporate maybe hip hop or just music in general, like with your therapy, or do you not really do it, or maybe it's like a client by client basis? Maybe like you said, like like if you get a client, like you said, like okay, from us talking, I know you really like music, so like you might be like, oh, girl or guy, whatever, you know. Here's a play. Here, check out this song, or whatever. Or
I have done that.
Yeah, how's that go for you?
So, like, in my career, which like this is my year 7, which is like a special thing, kind of in my mind and in the therapy world. It's like you get comfortable being a therapist at year 7. That's the statistic or whatever that they say when I was starting school, and it's true because I finally feel like comfortable in my therapist hood, my counselor hood. And when I was early on, I wanted to make it such a prominent part of the work that I do. Like I wanted it to be a part of the creative therapies that I implement with my clients.
Okay.
So when I was working in substance abuse, I did group sessions
Okay.
every day, like 3 hours a group with a little break in the middle. And on Fridays when they did good, like every month, it was a treat. Like, all right, y'all, we wrapping up. Let's do a playlist. We're gonna listen to it in group. We're gonna process each song. We're gonna talk about it. I need these are the rules. And the song choices brought me into like learning other genres and stuff. So like I heard Incubus before, and I was like, I don't know who Incubus. Like, I know Incubus. I remember them.
Like I've heard of them, but I've never heard.
Energy, but I don't know their music. And then one of my clients recommended one of their songs that's like a very meditative sounding song, and I said I thought they was a rock group. And he's like, yeah, kind of, but like the fact that like talking to other people, music connects us to other people.
Mm-hmm.
So like I utilize it in sessions where I'll think of something. Like I'll literally use a lyric sometimes and be like, oh girl, you ever heard that song? So, do you know this song by Mary J. Blige?
Mm-hmm.
Are you aware of this song by Erykah Badu? Have you ever heard this? Or some of my clients will mention songs and they'll be like, Ava, I heard this song and it made me think about this. It brought me down this rabbit hole where I was like, I need to process this with her.
Oh, wow. That's dope.
And it would bring people to like, I was listening to this, or I heard this gospel song and I was like at church and they sang it and I immediately started crying. And I'm like, why am I feeling like this? And we would talk about that, you know, like just various different things that music will bring people to the forefront. Like it'll bring things to the forefront for people.
I've definitely had those moments like, damn,
yeah,
I'm really like thinking like, oh,
breaking
shit.
down, yeah. Or I'm feeling happy. Sometimes even with music making you feel good, like just certain songs that will bring you to a place where you're like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. Oh, that's another one, like Cleo Soul. I recommend her.
Oh yeah, Cleo Soul, yeah, that Mother album.
Oh brother, that thing. And I became a mother of 2 around that time.
Oh, so I can see how that.
So I was like, oh, she's really like bringing some things up. Like there's certain songs. First time I heard it, I'm like, I'm a crybaby. So like I'm in my bathroom getting ready for the day, and I'm crying because I'm listening to one of her songs, and I'm like, wow, this is real. Really, really like empathetic music. So yeah, like there's been moments on both ends where people will bring things to me. I'll share something and be like, you know what? I want you to listen to this song, and I'll give it to them. My clients at this point, ones that I worked with for quite some time, they know I'm a music lover, so it's always incorporated. But at one point, it was like all the time. I was learning new stuff all the time.
That's dope. That's dope. What about either for yourself or for your clients? Do you have like any songs or certain art that you kind of use like for like your mood or like to regulate your mood, or you know, like I don't know, say you are like in a sad mood, is it like, do you have like a playlist where you like, hey, or a certain artist where you, or even if you know you're trying to get out that funk or whatever, do you have any of those type of artists that either for yourself or that you recommend to people, folks?
So for myself, like I said, I recommend like a lot of palatable R&B, soothing type of music, and predominantly, so my case, my clientele, predominantly Black women of multiple backgrounds. I have a few women who are not Black, and I'm still able to connect with them regarding music. They'll even teach me things. I'm like, girl, I didn't know that. And then I'll be like, okay, let me check that out. And then I'll realize, because I like other genres too. Like, I'm loving little Sabrina Carpenter.
Okay, I've heard her.
I like her.
Everybody was talking about how she just beat Travis Scott out for like first week sales or something like that.
Cause and it's so funny because on TikTok people were saying she's invited to the cookout, because of that song Bad Chemistry. It's like Bad Chemistry, but it's like Bad Chem, and it sounds like Into You by Tamia. Kind of has that sound, and people have been electric sliding to it on TikTok, and it's hilarious to me because I'm like, this is wild. But I think mainly, so there's certain people that I love. I go back to like Solange, A Seat at the Table.
Yeah.
I go back to that. She's another one that's like I will fight over Solange. I love that lady. I love her sister too, but I love her more. Like Solange is like made me feel seen. Like, she makes me feel seen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm that kind of woman as well. Kind of chaotic, kind of messy, kind of cool, kind of unique, kind of sensitive, all of the things. So I get her. So she's one I'll pull out. And nostalgic music, like old R&B that I forgot who sang the song. I have a playlist with just a bunch of old throwbacks. Like the song "Don't You Forget It" by Glenn Lewis. Do you know that song?
Yeah.
I love that song. It makes me feel like I'm in the backseat of my mom's Acura.
Okay.
As like a young person, like, oh my gosh, like this. See, again, I'm 8 or something, and I'm sitting in the back like, wow, he's really in tune. This is a really well written song. I'm thinking this as an elementary age child.
Yeah, I was like, I probably wouldn't have,
Wow.
wasn't thinking about that as a song. I probably was like, okay, this sounds good.
Wow.
I don't know what they're saying, but
He wrote down. So like older R&B songs like that. I love a few Donny Hathaway songs. Will really get me in that like existential mode where I'm like, this is what life is about. Like, I need this. Someday we'll all be free always gets me there. Like, I remember writing a letter to Oliver before I had him.
oh,
And I put that as a song. Like, you know how we used to write letters?
oh yes.
We were kids and put like song, date, all of that. I wrote a letter and I said, I need you to know this song.
Okay, that's dope.
Like, throughout your life. Like, go back to this when you don't get it. When things start to feel kind of weird or you're sad about the way the world is, here we go.
Oh, that's dope. I
One
like
that
that.
always gets me there. I go to Frank Ocean when I'm sad and I want to stay sad. That's a thing where we got to sit in our mood. I'm like, ooh, girl, I'm emotional. I'm going to pull out some Frank and be sad, but also feel happy with certain songs by him. Kendrick, of course, when I want to be in my thinking mode. But like, I just pull out whoever, you know, like I do have a playlist. I have a few. There's this group too called Radiant Children. I don't know if they're still making music, but they're based out of the UK. And Issa Rae put them in Insecure.
Okay, that's dope.
And that's the first time I heard them. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And they have a song called Life's a Bitch, and it's great. They have other songs. They have a song called Sky Mind that I love because it's literally about letting thoughts come and go in your brain and let them float like clouds.
Oh, wow.
Just very, and her voice is very like soulful. Their whole aesthetic was great. I remember when I first heard them and I was like, what? Who is this? And then I looked it up and I've been following them ever since, but I don't think they've put anything out in the past 4 years.
I'll have to check them out.
Radiant Children, their music is lovely, even though they only have like an EP and a little album. Maybe it's just 2 EPs. But yeah, I have like a plethora of folks. At one point it was J. Cole, your boy.
Mm-hmm.
I throw on Love Yours if I wanted a good, you know, gratitude moment. And a lot of his other music, you know. So yeah, I don't really have specifics. 100%, I just pull whatever gets me right. And Kid Cudi too, like, he's one that my brother and I bonded over when we were younger.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain people that my brother and I, like, we connect. Like, Pharrell coming out with Piece by Piece, we will be in the theater, in the seats, ready to watch. Because we love Pharrell Williams.
Yeah, I was like, I know I see him like stepping up and ramping up the whole like media talk about because they said like Pusha T's in there, they said Jay-Z's in there, and because I heard him say like a lot of people that he has in there, he didn't tell them that they were gonna have little Lego versions of themselves in the movie. Wrap up the one fun question I like to ask guests every now and then. I thought about prepping you for it, but I was like, yeah, I'll just ask on the spot. So, if you could put together one song featuring any artist that you like, I'm gonna say 3 artists and 1 producer, who would it be?
Oh my gosh. Producer? I'm gonna say, because I'm like, some of the answers that are coming to my head has happened before. Because another rapper I love is Vince Staples.
Okay,
So
yeah,
I was like, oh snap, like, Vince Staples and Snow Allegra have a song together, so no. I would do a produced by Pharrell, but in the early 2000s, not now. Pharrell back in the day when he was in his R&B bag. Think like You Remind Me by Usher type of time. No, You Don't Have to Call. That's what I'm thinking. You Don't Have to Call by Usher type of time. Like when he was doing all of that.
Yeah.
That type of sound with who's singing? I'm gonna just be biased. Frank.
Okay.
I want Frank to sing, and I want him to do his whole, like, kind of how he did that Calvin Harris song Slide.
Oh.
I want him to sing like that.
Yeah.
Like a fun song.
I love that album, that Calvin Harris album.
I love that song. Yes. And then rapping, Kendrick.
Okay. Well,
a fun song. Give Kendrick a fun song, and make it about something kind of, because Kendrick has worked with Pharrell, so that works. And then I want Frank to sing, but if I had to sub Frank for a woman, it would be Solange.
Okay. And then you got one more artist.
Oh, one more artist? So I could do three artists.
Yep.
And producer. Okay. That's hard. I'm gonna say Doechii.
Okay.
I would want a Pharrell produced track with Solange. I'm gonna take Frank out. Yeah. Solange, Doechii, and Kendrick Lamar.
Okay, I like that. Okay.
And have Pharrell do like a little bubbly beat, but have it kind of cool, like.
Yeah. Cause you know he might add like his little ad libs and whatnot over it anyways.
I love that about him. Like throw in a little what, you know. Yeah, that's what I would do. I think, or I would do an NERD song. I would do an NERD song with Doechii and Kendrick on it.
Okay.
That too. Like I love NERD. Their last album was amazing.
Yep. I
love all their old stuff, even the rock sound and stuff. I love all of that. That's another one. My brother and I, we bonded over that because my brother's into like house techno. He's into the alternative stuff, old school hip hop. He's into a bunch of shit, just everything. And NERD, me and Sydney in his car, bonding over Pharrell's Genius. So that's my answer. I think I'm white. I got 3, but I'm settling on NERD with Doechii and Kendrick because that's like 5 people.
Okay, I like that because I was like, she's like, I got the cheat code.
A cheat answer, okay, yeah. If I love me some Chad Hugo, Chad know what he's doing too. It ain't just Pharrell. Pharrell is the face. Chad really is also getting it done.
Which I was sad to hear that Pharrell said that they ain't cool now.
They kind of beefing, yeah.
Yeah, he was like, he in the movie, but we ain't cool.
And it's sad though because I think Pharrell, he's one of those ones where I've kind of like, I adore his artistry. I don't know what kind of man he is.
I think he's a vampire.
I think he's something.
I was like, this man does not look like he's aged in 50 years.
Yeah, he's got some interesting stuff. Like him and Khalees, their fallout is something I still ask myself questions about, like what happened. But he's still him and Pusha. He's had a lot of artists.
He just did the whole new Clips album.
Exactly. He's been certain people he's very good with, but even like people like Tiana Taylor, she was signed to him at one point. People like tons of other artists. I remember back in MySpace days, there were certain R&B girls that worked with him, and they never put out projects. And it's like Pharrell starts things with people, but he doesn't really finish. Like he has all of these projects and things that he puts together, but the only thing that's really been steadfast is himself.
Yep.
Which I can't be mad at that, because if you care more about the music than anything, then we shall see.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I'm excited to see what he got with this movie, and then the new Clips album and all that. I'm excited to see what the guy what he done did. But yeah, if you want to promote your business and let people know where they can find you if they want to get some services and all that, we can do that and we can wrap up.
So my business is called Jardin Well Counseling Studio, and that just basically means like garden well. It's like a play on words. So Jardin is garden in French,
Okay.
and apparently in Spanish too. But like the whole analogy is like, water what you're growing, take care of things, cultivate things. The analogies. I'm an analogy person. Any of my clients could tell you that if you know any. Like I use analogies all the time. And so that's my business is literally an analogy, and I call it a counseling studio because I think that creativity and putting something together is a studio process. So your life is like your little studio, and I am creating that space for you to learn about yourself and figure your things out. So yeah, it's like your life is art. And you can find me. So my website is jardinwellstudio.com. My Instagram is the same, Jardin Well Studio. And my name is Ava Hill, and I'm an LPCS in Texas and in Louisiana. So also, if you're a counselor and you're early in your process and you're in those states, let me know. I'm looking for supervisees. I'm trying to help baby counselors become their best selves and learn about themselves while I'm still learning about myself and becoming my best self. So, fun times. But that's my thing. That's my stuff or whatever.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for doing this. It was a fun time. It was great talking hip hop music in general. Learning a little bit more about yourself and laughing and all the things.
Absolutely, it was so fun.
I definitely told your husband he gonna be next. I'm thinking I think I want to. Well, my idea in my head that I want to try to get a podcast done the day of the wedding. And I was thinking I want to do it with him and my friend Lo that are down in Houston. I was like, and more kind of like hey, y'all are already married,
Oh, that's a great idea.
Like also yes, we're gonna interview Doechii. I was thinking either do 2 episodes where one I focus on just him, and then a second one where they kind of just hey, we're gonna talk to you like some husband stuff. We're gonna get you on, put you on game, and just. All that, the day of the wedding. Because I'm like, for guys, it don't take that long for us to get together. So I'm like, if I can figure out how to do it that day, maybe.
Really cool.
So
definitely, yeah, we need to come in on Thursday night. We will. We're going to do what we need to do to make it happen. Because we're very excited about it. This is great. I'm so excited to see this. Knowing Tiana for the time that I have, couldn't have picked a better for her. You was family, dog. You was in the building.
Right. That's why even when she was saying, she's like, oh yeah, you should do the podcast with Ava. I was like, oh, of course. Yeah, let's definitely down to do that. Let's get it done.
It was fun. I really appreciate it. I miss doing this. I used to do one with my friend, and it was so fun. So yeah, let's get it.
Yeah, I know. It's been 7 years for me, so I was like, I know it can be hard, especially because now I do bi-weekly. I'll drop episodes every 2 weeks now. It's a lot.
It's a lot. It takes a lot of time and editing and everything, but you got it. You've been on it and you're very consistent. So, good stuff. And also, happy early birthday.
Thank you. Happy early birthday to you too.
All right now.
Yeah.
The 14 and the 15.
Yep. Shout out to us, Team Virgo.
Okay. My best friend's birthday is today too. She's the 13th. So.
Okay. So yeah, if y'all listen to this, go ahead and cash app us. Our birthday is already passed by the time y'all hear this.
Okay. Run me my money. Yeah.
But go ahead and cash app us.
I love it.
But yeah, that's it. This is your boy Smilez. I'm here with my girl Ava, and this has been another episode of the Music Impulse, and we out.
Bye.